What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Keto Rewind. Thank you for clicking on today's video. Today's video is going to be a week 192 update of my keto journey, or my keto story, or my journey of how I'm rewinding my weight from a morbidly obese weight to a healthy weight, completely changing my life and living a healthy lifestyle. I will say I'm not a medical doctor, not a healthcare professional, not an expert. This entire channel is just my story on my ups, my downs, my tips, my tricks, and everything in between, so that you can either be inspired or do this with me and learn from me. I'll be sharing plenty of mistakes and how I overcame those obstacles in addition to all of my success. So anyways, what do you say we hop into today's video? What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna rock it! I'm gonna rock it!
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that little tidbit. My girls, I love to get them pumped up before games. I like to get their mindset there so they know that they can do it. Because I don't care what they do as athletes, but I do expect them to give 100% of themselves when they are out there. And that's just like my little motto, and my girls love that. And it's kind of fun and silly and, you know, but also true at the same time. So I thought that little tidbit could maybe give you a little pep in your step today. So anyways, today we're going to talk about the last week. I got lots of interesting stuff popped up this week for me. I didn't really have any like exciting things to report on, but I had a lot of things that kept popping into my mind throughout the whole week. Kind of like reflecting on my journey prior, or my first time around. I lost 130 pounds, and like the difference between that journey and my comeback tour or my round two. Because like I said, the original plan to lose all the weight, there were a lot of great stuff that came from that journey. I learned a lot, but I also didn't learn a lot, and that's why I rebounded, or I should say I relapsed or regained quite a bit of weight, because I was trying to hold on to a version of myself because it was comfortable. It's all I knew. It's closer to the mainstream way of everybody else lives. So you know, this new me, or being healthy, is more not like the oddball in the group, but it's not as common. I don't have as many healthy friends as I have normal or obese friends. So it's like I was just hanging on to it, and instead of learning from the mistakes or the reasons I was getting into bad decisions, instead of learning from those mistakes and using that to propel me to keep going, I used those more of as a convenient excuse. So like birthday parties, celebrations, you know, holidays, vacations, you know, like there's a difference between that journey and the journey that I'm having now. Like when I come up on a obstacle, I approach it so much different this time around than I did the first time. Because in the first time, honestly, I had initial great success, lost a lot of weight, but I went so fast I didn't learn all the lessons. So when I came on an obstacle, I would fail, but I'd get back up and keep going. But like I kept failing more and more. The failures were coming more frequently, and I wasn't learning from them. It's like sometimes you're just given that same obstacle until you get it right. And I was not getting it right. In fact, it was becoming more and more and more weight gain until I got to the point that I am now. So a lot of the stuff that I am noticing on my part two is, it's simple stuff, but stuff that I'm like, oh, I see what's happening here. Oh, you know, like a lot of those aha moments. And it's like now I'm better prepared to make the better choice to overcome the obstacle. Where before I'm like, oh, I have a party on Friday. I can go and have XYZ things at the party. You know, it's like, oh. And then I'll have to spend a whole week recovering from it because it was just one night of bad decisions, or one night turned into two, turned into three before Monday came around and I snapped out of it, right? So this time around, that's what we're trying to avoid. That's what I'm trying to avoid. I don't want that anymore. And in addition to all that, my attitude is so much different this time around. I don't want to say arrogant, because that's not a good attitude, but it's like, I don't want that life anymore. Like, I'm done with that. I'm over it. Like, I finally closed that door. It took a long time to get this, but when I shut it down, like, it is shut down. I no longer desire the things that I was previously always butthurt about. You know, specifically, you know, just standard American diet. You know, like right now, I'm in the zone where I don't want to feel bad. I want to feel good all day. So I don't want to mess up what I've spent 5 days in the gym fixing and working and improving, you know, body composition wise on a Friday night that maybe spent 15 seconds in my mouth. Like, that was a lot of work I did this week. I don't want to mess that up. So it's that attitude where I'm like, I'm not doing it. It's me versus the old me right now. And the new me is winning. So, that spilled into another Friday. I think, what did we have? I think it was Saturday night. I swear, if I don't have sports with my kids, we have birthday parties. It's just like, it's one thing after the other. So my youngest daughter had a birthday party. So we go there, and I knew ahead of time, every birthday party I go to with kids is always pizza, cake, snacks, candy, you know, stuff like that. All of which those things are not vibing with my new goals. You know, like it's just not. So one of the cool things was that Friday for lunch, I made a chicken crust pizza so that I could have the other half in the evening before I went to the party. So I, instead of going unprepared with a hungry stomach and with all that temptation, I ate before I went to the party. The party was from like 6 to 8 p.m. So it was so easy for me to just eat before I go. Plan ahead, overcome that obstacle before it becomes an obstacle in the first place. So I was so proud of myself. I was perfectly fine saying no to pizza, no to cake, and I just was drinking sparkling waters. You know, like I was like so proud. Like, yeah, Jess, this is what I'm talking about. There's no reason to blow all the week's work of effort that I put into the new me on a Saturday night pizza and cake. You know, it's just, I want to feel good. I want to keep the momentum going. And that was a attitude change that I've not so easily come to before. Like before, it usually was like a convenient excuse. But now it's like, no. Nope, not anymore. No, I don't want that for me anymore. I want more. So another thing that has helped me this week that I really noticed between my first time around and this time around is I have prioritized protein significantly more than round one. and I know I have always preached protein, but I am like, oh man, I am so protein focused. And when I even eat my meals, my protein is what I eat first on my plate before anything else. I make sure that's in there. It is so important. And the reason is I feel fuller longer. I like to feel full. I didn't really know all this time I like to feel full, but I like that. I'm not talking like Thanksgiving dinner full. I'm talking, I don't want to feel hungry when I'm done eating. So eating the protein gives me that signal that says, okay, you've eaten. Yes, you know, like my body's happy. We have got this meal done, you know. And it also lasts longer. It's more satiating. And it helps between, like, when what's the word? I haven't been doing intermittent fasting because I eat so much protein. You can't just eat that in one meal. Like, I can at most eat 6 to 7 ounces. If I'm really lucky, 8 ounces of protein per meal of like chicken, beef, you know, that kind of thing. So I physically can't eat that much protein in like 1 or 2 meals. Like, I have to spread it, and I usually have about 3 to 4 meals a day spread out through the rest of the day. So technically I do intermittent fasting because I don't eat after my last dinner meal, so like 6 o'clock, and I won't eat again till like 9 o'clock the next day. I'm not sure what those hours are, so technically, yeah, I'm doing a little intermittent fasting, but before I wouldn't start eating till like 12 or 1 the next day, and now I'm eating at 9 or 10. So it's slightly intermittent fasting, but I don't make this a point to make sure I'm doing intermittent fasting every day, and it's mainly because of how to get that much protein in. So I need those 3 to 4 meals to get 150 to 170 grams of protein in a day. And that also means the difference between the first Jess round 1 versus the Jess round 2 is I am not eating any of the processed foods that helped make my keto life a lot easier. And that's twofold. The first fold is I found that I don't like processed foods of any kind. It doesn't matter what way of eating. I'm not a fan of that. I would like to eat as close to the farm and away from the bakery and processing as possible. That's just what I desire. That makes me feel the best. However, yes, there are downfalls. It takes me way longer to find something to eat when I'm not prepared. It could cost more if you increase your protein and you're, getting fresh vegetables. But in the long run, I'm not shopping in those inner aisles of the grocery store. So I'm not getting all those extras. I'm not eating all of that. So it kind of supplements the increased costs in like having a very high protein, fresh vegetable diet. So all in all it does, and adding on top of that, I don't eat out as much because I don't have as many good options where I live. You can only go out and eat a salad so many times, like I don't trust the ingredients that restaurants and stuff put in and the portion sizes. So when it comes down to it, it all evens out. It just may initially look more expensive at the grocery store, but you're not going out and you're not buying all those extras, In addition to that, if you want to completely change your life, you can't keep living the old way. Yes, there's definitely gonna be times you have to go eat out. That's life, and that's not saying I'm never eating out. I'm just saying if I want to make an effort on me, and I'm right now in competition with old me and new me says I will rather make something at home. It is cheaper in the long run. It is 100% going to be what I need it to be to hit my goals, and it's keeps the momentum going. I'm not going to throw a whole week's worth of progress away just because I needed to eat out and who knows what the heck ended up in my food, and not in portion sizes. Like you're going to get the smallest little piece of protein and an enormous side of your carb or whatnot, and it's just I have different goals than that. So the part 2 of that equation is 1 is the processing, and 2 is if you literally want to change your life, you can't keep living your old way, your old habits. The new you has to be different, or it's not the new you. It's gonna be the old you disguised as, I'm on it this time, This is the new me. Well, we all know that's not how it works. The only way to change your life is to change your life. And I started going off track when I would eat things that were keto but were processed, which just kept allowing those triggers and those feelings to be current in my mind instead of not choosing that and letting my mind find something else. So that was a huge game changer when you look back now versus my round 1. That's why I said, yeah, I gained a lot of weight back. Why does that make me relevant? Because I'm learning these things now that I didn't realize in the past. That is significant to somebody that is in the same boat as me, who keeps yo-yoing and can't understand, why is this happening? This is why, these little things. And I'm trying my best to share those. I'm trying my best to share that so that you don't make these mistakes, or you can say, oh, I know what's happening here, and you can fix it before you go off the rails. Because I did, and it sucks to have to redo this all. But in the end of the day, is it a blessing in disguise that I did go off the rails and crash and burn? Yeah, I want to say yeah, because I'm better now. Like, I'm learning from those mistakes, and I'm getting it. And it's that little momentum every week that is making the difference when I crash or burn, or I crash or I succeed. So I don't feel like you can change your life if you're eating cheesecake still. It's just keto cheesecake. I just don't see how cheesecake needs to be in my diet on a weekly basis. You know what I mean? I don't see why I need to eat fat bombs, when I'm morbidly obese. Well, I'm not morbidly, I'm obese now. But I think you can't change your life if you put lipstick on a pig. You know, you have to make those changes, and it's so hard to, you know, like, especially if you're cruising on social media, it's recipe after recipe. It's like keto peanut butter bars, keto brownies, keto whatever. It's like, just because it says keto, is that really going to change your life? You know, are you still going to rely on those recipes? Now, don't get me wrong. There's a time and place for sweets and treats and stuff like that. But are you honestly going to be satisfied eating the keto version? Or are you still going to want the original version that has the sugar and the carbs, but you're going to eat the keto one? It's not going to taste like the good one. So now you're mad and you had all those calories, and then you end up eating that one too. So what is better in the long run? How do you really change your life? And that is where I have really had to put in some blood, sweat, and tears over the past summer in the messy middle of this weight loss journey, because I had to come to terms with what is happening here. And for me, I find I have way more success if I cut it all out. My cravings, each week I've continued on, my cravings have almost gone away. Like, I am happy and satisfied and stronger that when stress happens, I'm not immediately turning to food, you know, like, or it's just crazy how, like, just that little bit of momentum every week can get you stronger so that you react different when you're faced with those same obstacles or triggers. So the noise in the background in my head is, and that's because I'm working out every day. I'm doing what I want to do in the gym. I'm seeing the inside of my body's feeling different. So what it comes down to is it's literally me versus my old me. And we are duking it out. And right now, I am happy with the person that I'm becoming. And that, at the end of the day, is what matters. But I could not have gotten here if I wasn't willing to put in the work and to change my habits and to truly live this new version of me that is different than the past. It's not lipstick on a pig. It's not something that's in disguise trying to, you know, fill in the gaps. No, I literally live a different life right now, and that I did not live 2 years ago, and definitely not 4 years ago. So I hope that all makes sense. I will say, for workout wise, the only difference or the only negative I can put in the column, I don't even know if it's a negative, but the only thing that I did notice is when I was eating low carb, high protein, when I did my workouts, after I would complete a set, in order to build muscle, I like to go to failure. Like, I don't like to just be, oh yeah, I got it, and then put it up. Like, I want to be pushing and I want to lift heavy. Because that's how you ultimately build muscle. If you're not pushing yourself, you're not building muscle. So when I would do the same sets, you know, a month ago with a low carb approach, I feel like I always had one more set in me. Like, I completed what I needed to get done, and I felt like, oh, I got like 5 more reps in me. On this high protein keto, I am only able to complete my set. I'm going to failure in my set, if that makes sense. So I've lost a little bit of power in the workouts. Am I still completing the same workout? Yes. But I love how I feel the rest of the day, you know, like, yes. So it's like, there's just one little notice. There's one little check mark that when I was eating a more low carb approach, it seemed like I had better power to fuel my workouts. But at the end of the day, I'm still getting it done. No big deal. And when I get to my goal weight, or when I choose to go back to low carb, no big deal. But right now, I'm still perfectly able to crush it in the gym. So point being, I'm getting the job done and I'm feeling good and I am on a roll. So I hope you understand what I've tried to say this video. It's a little shorter than normal. I didn't have any like mind-blowing things happen this week. It was just a combination of a lot of little pieces coming together. And every now and then you have to take time and reflect on those and see those differences, to see that you are you're totally taking that step, and each step up the mountain, we're making progress, you know? So anyways, that is today's video, and I am going to change clothes and go get a workout done. Speaking of workouts, right? Plus the lawnmowers outside have started, so that's my cue to go.